Let's talk matchmaking for the final card of the year. UFC Tampa was absolutely loaded, completely stacked card. I'm going to give you my matchups for what I found to be the most significant fights on the card. I'll move this down to the left corner so you can see Davey Grant's pretty face. Let's start it off right away with the main event. Joaquin Buckley, big win over Colby. A lot of people discrediting it because it was an early stoppage, which it was, but it was pretty much one-way traffic the whole time. I did think it was going to be 3-0 Buckley in that fight, but Colby was starting to heat up. It was going to become a scrap, but someone's mother decided to go in there and stop it because they saw too much blood, which, someone's mother shouldn't be the one stopping MMA, but it is what it is. We're going to go on with Joaquin Buckley versus Leon Edwards. Now, hear me out. I almost thought Joaquin Buckley versus Sean Brady was a good fight. But then I said, why aren't we doing Joaquin Buckley any favors here? He's marketable. He's on a massive win streak. If Alex Pereira and Ilia Topuria aren't a thing, he's the fighter of the year. The guy's undefeated at welterweight, smashing people left and right, getting finishes, knocked out Wonderboy in round 3, beat Colby in round 3, showed him that Colby could barely get him to the ground, like he was stuffing takedowns like a madman. Let's do him a favor. I bet he's willing to travel to England. Joaquin Buckley, Leon Edwards, main event, UFC London in March. Buckley will turn around on 3.5 weeks' notice. He's super active. You gotta love and respect that about him, and he'll make it a scrap. Leon's gonna try and make it boring, but Joaquin Buckley won't make it boring. He's gonna walk forward. He's gonna make Leon have to fight him. I think it'll be a great fight, and I think this is another fight that it's approachable for Leon. It's not a pure grappler like a Sean Brady or a Bilal Muhammad or an Usman who he's been facing, or a Colby. It's a guy that kind of mixes it up, and we get to see where he really stands with a guy that wants to push the presser. Because he looked really bad in his performance against Bilal, and I don't think it was just because of the fucking nighttime. Joaquin Buckley, Leon Edwards is a sick fight. JDM and Usman is pretty much going to be a thing, per Sean Brady. I think it's going to happen in Australia. So I'm expecting those two to be tied up. So the Buckley versus Usman thing ain't happening. Shavkat's going to get Bilal. Now, I know that's saying, well, where's Sean Brady and where's Ian Gary? I actually could see Ian Gary taking a fight against a striker going down in the rankings, taking a protest fight, even though I would love to see Gary versus Sean Brady. I think it'd be a good scrap. But listen, I don't want to be rewarding Ian Gary with the Leon Edwards fight here. I know I did it last week, but I don't want to reward Ian Gary with that fight, considering that when he goes into fights, he's stunk it up the past 3 times, really bad. Terrible fight with Shavkat, and I get it was a lot of Shavkat being a bitch in that fight, but then he ran from Jeff Neal the whole time. He had a terrible fight with MVP. Before that, he didn't finish Neil Magny like a bunch of these other guys. I get it, Ian Gary's very good, and he's still getting better. I don't want to reward him with a top contender after losing to Shavkat Rakhmonov and having boring fights leading all the way. At least Joaquin Buckley's beating all the contenders, and he's doing it by finish. Finished Luke Kay. Finished Wonderboy Thompson. Finished Colby Covington. Went to decision with a dangerous Nursultan Ruzaboyev in a 3-rounder, but he dominated him throughout that fight. Joaquin Buckley stepping up for the UFC. It's time for them to do him a solid. UFC London on March 22nd. Main event, Joaquin Buckley, Leon Edwards. If Buckley wins this fight, he sets himself up for a title shot. So keep an eye on this fight. Buckley, Leon, this is the one to make. Now, I see a lot of people doing Colby versus Ian Gary. That's also doable. I don't know that that's the fight that we should do. I don't know that Colby will take the fight. I'd like to see Colby versus Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler's been bitching and moaning about going to welterweight. Fine, go to welterweight and get wrestle-fucked by Colby Covington. I'm totally cool with watching Michael Chandler lose every fight in the UFC for the rest of his career. Dirty cheat, weird guy, too corny. He fucking annoys me now, man. He really does. That performance against Charles really pissed me off at the back of the head shots. I also just think he's dumb. He's a nice guy. I don't like the fucking John Cena fucking shtick that he does where it's all about hustle and loyalty and respect. I'm not about it, dude. It's fake. It's corny. And I think Colby Covington would destroy him on the mic. And then go out there and out-wrestle him. out-cardio him. And I think this would end up being a scrap. Not a 5-round war. I could see Chandler getting finished later in the later rounds. But I think it would be a scrap where Chandler's looking good early and Colby just is able to turn it on late. It gets Colby back in the win column and he gets to yap again. So Colby Covington, Michael Chandler, I think that's a great fight to make happen. And it's one that's probably going to be done here in the States. Put this as the co-main event of a pay-per-view or a feature fight of a pay-per-view in like April, May. I'm cool with this being like the May co-main event or the May feature fight of a pay-per-view. So that's what I'm looking at here. Sometime in April, May pay-per-view on the main card. Colby Covington, Michael Chandler. It's a hot take. Hope I didn't lose you guys with that one, but I could see it happening. I could because Chandler's never getting the Conor fight. Fuck it. Moving on. Billy Quarantilla. Now, Cub Swanson's not up here because I think he's retiring. Would love to see him retire. If not, give him the Legends. Give him like a fun fight on the way out that he can win, like a Nate Landwehr. I know Guru made like an Edson Barboza matchup. I just think he gets killed by Edson Barboza, so I don't want to see that. But if you're going to do it, give Cub Swanson an easy retirement fight that'll actually be fun to the fans, and it's a winnable one for him. But we're going to move on to Billy Q because I don't think that Billy Q's retiring yet. Listen, we got to get this guy in the win column. It's sad to see him keep getting brutally finished. He's going to need some time off. Let's get him a free win against Darren Elkins. Dude, I'm so sick of Darren Elkins, man. He just is one of those guys that bothers me, man. He's got no skill. He's got cardio and heart. Good for him there. But then he gets on the post-fight interview, his eyes looking one way, his other eyes looking the other way, and then he just mumbles through the whole thing and sounds dumb as rocks. Would way rather see Billy Q retire his ass. So Billy Q, Darren Elkins, I don't think either guy's going to take too much damage in the fight that they have. Even though Darren Elkins will find a way to take damage. But this is the one that I want to see. Two guys, older, legends. They're just old names that have a couple wins that people tend to like. I like Billy Q. Don't think he's the best fighter, but I like Billy Q. Don't love Darren Elkins. I think this is a matchup to make. Prelims of a pay-per-view. Prelim headliner of a fight night, something like that. They would probably put this on the main card of an Apex card because that's what they do now. But yeah, Billy Q, Darren Elkins. We're going to move on to Manel Kape. Now, I know everyone's crying for the title shot because Manel Kape put on the best performance in flyweight history. Dancing in the octagon like crazy. Showing speed that we've never seen before. The based Manel Kape gets a grudge match with Kai Kara-France. Dude, these two hate each other. Ton of buildup. And you can't give Manel Kape a title shot coming off a Bruno Silva win. I know Ursay got one coming off a Chanel win, but we found out it made sense. And I get the Kape and Pantoja one also can make sense. Kape's already fought Pantoja and lost. Very close split decision. Kape versus Kai Kara-France needs to happen. These two hate each other. Kape, you said his name on the mic. Even though he wants a Pantoja fight, he said his name on the mic. And the winner of this can get a Pantoja fight. It's a great way to... It's a great addition to a pay-per-view. Now, I'd love to sit here and say, yep, do it on 312. No way Manel Kape is turning around for UFC 312 and making weight. No shot. So I think this is going to have to be UFC Fight Night main event or put this on the main card of a pay-per-view. I would honestly prefer to see this on the main card of a pay-per-view. Manel Kape, Kai Kara-France, 3 rounds, feature fight, UFC pay-per-view. I'm thinking 313's in March. They may do 314 at the end of March or at the beginning of April and then 315 at the end of April. Thinking UFC 315, end of April, early May, pay-per-view card. Would love to see them. Actually, you know what? Early April would be great. I just don't know if they're going to turn around that quick. I know Manel Kape is Muslim. Like, he might be celebrating Ramadan, so we'll see. But I think Manel Kape, Kai Kara-France is the fight to make. Put it on a pay-per-view sometime next year. Early to mid next year. Feature fight. Done. Sick one. They're going to yap at the press conference. They're going to shit on each other the whole time, and it's going to be a scrap when they go in there. Fastest guy in the division, I believe, with Manel Kape versus one of the fastest in Kai Kara-France, who has a lot of power. Kape, Kara-France. Come on, guys. It makes all the sense in the world. And they're already scheduled to fight. Dustin Jacoby. We're not giving Bruno Silva a fight because he should be cut for nut kicking Manel Kape multiple times. Jacoby, I think Johnny Walker's going to lose to Bogdan Guskov in January. So I think Jacoby versus Johnny Walker makes all the sense in the world to me. Make it happen sometime in June after Johnny Walker gets inevitably knocked out. Give him another 6 months off, and let's see how this fight goes. The patient, technical striker in Dustin Jacoby versus the wild man in Johnny Walker. I think it'd be fun. Makes sense. They'll be at similar spots in the rankings. Jacoby will be just outside the rankings. And Johnny Walker will be ranked like 14, so this makes sense to me. Moving on. Daniel Marcos has got a hell of a win streak going. Time to get a ranked opponent. Kyler Phillips. I don't think Kyler Phillips deserves a shot up in the rankings. I think he needs to defend his ranking spot to show that he actually is worthy of being in the rankings, because right now I'm questioning it after that last performance against Rob Font and how shitty he looked in rounds 2 and 3 against Pedro Munoz. I think Daniel Marcos versus Kyler Phillips is a good matchup. Two guys that tend to mix things up a little bit, not in terms of the submissions, but like Daniel Marcos will mix in a takedown every once in a while. He does throw kicks. Kyler Phillips, very similar way. I think it'd be an evenly matched fight. It's a chance for Daniel Marcos to jump up in the rankings, and it's a chance for Kyler Phillips to defend and show that he belongs in the rankings. So makes all the sense in the world to me. Daniel Marcos, Kyler Phillips, fight night, main card, maybe a feature fight on the main card of a crowded fight night. Makes all the sense in the world to me. Moving on, Adrian Yanez. Talbot's going to get a win over, I don't even remember who at UFC 311 at this point, but he's going to win. They're giving him the fights that he can win. I'm going to look it up right now for you. It's Peyton Talbot on UFC 311 versus Ronnie Barcelos. If he beats Ronnie Barcelos, then give him the Adrian Yanez fight. That makes all the sense in the world to me. It's a good one. It's two names, two guys that are going to stand on the feet most of the time. It's going to be a scrap. See how it goes. And it really shows us where Peyton Talbot is. If he can beat Adrian Yanez, then he is, getting ready for that ranked opponent. Peyton Talbot, Adrian Yanez, fight night card in March. Put it on as the main card opener. It makes all the sense in the world to me. It's a scrap. Fans would love it. Moving on. Navajo Sterling had a win that was pretty dominant over Tuco Tokos. Brendan Hilario is a good matchup. He's coming off a win in the light heavyweight division. It's not too tricky of a matchup for Navajo Sterling, so we get to see how he goes against a more powerful striker, just an overall faster and better one as well. So we'll see how it goes. Navajo Sterling, Brendan Hilario. This is a prelim fight, by the way. Please don't fucking put this on the main card. Michael Johnson, insane knockout win. Insane knockout win over Otman Azaitar. He wants the Justin Gaethje fight. No shot he's getting the number 3 or 4 ranked Justin Gaethje. Drew Dober. Now, why do you ask? Drew Dober needs a win. I'll leave it at that. Drew Dober, Michael Johnson. It's a good fight. Two southpaws scrapping it out. They're going to stand on the feet. Both can wrestle. Both can swing. Both have power. Both are names that people know. Makes all the sense in the world to me. We'll see how Drew Dober comes out in this fight and see if the myths are true. Joel Alvarez, great win over Drakkar Klose. Nasty finishing sequence. Give him Jalen Turner, man. Weight bully versus weight bully. Let's see how it goes. I think Joel Alvarez is so much better than Jalen Turner. There are other guys you can put him with in the division, but listen, Jalen Turner needs to defend this fucking ranking spot, because, I can't remember the last time this guy won a fight. Oh, it was Bobby Green. With an insanely gross knockout win. Oh my God, that was a bad stoppage. But Joel Alvarez, Jalen Turner, two really long, lanky guys in the division. Both guys have submissions. I do think Joel Alvarez is a much better grappler. Jalen Turner is probably the more technical striker. But Joel Alvarez is damn good, and he's a better finisher. So I think Joel Alvarez, Jalen Turner makes all the sense in the world. Put this on the main card of a pay-per-view when you go to fucking Spain, for the love of God, if we can do that soon. That probably won't happen until the end of next year, so you can do this one on the, the co-main event of a fight night in front of a crowd. You can do this as a, main card opener of a pay-per-view. This would be a scrap. Sick fight, two names people know, up-and-coming prospect versus a guy that needs to defend his ranking. Makes all the sense in the world. I put Drakkar Klose on here because I'm a Drakkar Klose fan. Even though he lost, I think he's a really, really good fighter. Elvis Brenner. Listen, both of them fought Joel Alvarez. Both got finished. Joel Alvarez is just that good. Let's just see who's better between the two of these guys. Close, Elvis Brenner, they're in similar spots in the Tapology rankings, which are more accurate rankings than a lot of the other ones that I've seen, even though mine are going to be better. We're going to move back on to Sean Woodson. Sean Woodson, let's give him a ranked opponent. I know I kind of shat on him in my predictions video for thinking he's very overrated. He's getting wins, man. He's getting finishes, and you know what? I'm ready for it. Giga Chikadze, let's see if he's on that level. Let's see if Sean Woodson is ranked material. Sean Woodson, Giga Chikadze. Giga just lost to Arnold Allen in a competitive fight. See him defend his ranking spot against a Sean Woodson. Very interested in this fight. So Sean Woodson, Giga Chikadze makes all the sense in the world to me. It's his shot at the rankings. Then we're going to wrap this up with two more. Felipe Lima, Chepe Mariscal. Two guys that are going to scrap. It's a guaranteed fun fight. Similar talent level, in my opinion. I actually think Felipe Lima is a little bit more technical and probably a little bit better. But I'd be interested to see, do Chepe Mariscal scrapes out these wins and is always tricky in doing so. So, Chepe Mariscal, Felipe Lima. This can be on the main card of a fight night. I'm cool that it's actually a scrap. If you want to do it as a prelim headliner, I'm cool with it as well. Prelims of a pay-per-view, it's a good fight. And then lastly, Davey Grant needs to fight on March 22nd in England. Give him Taylor Lapulus. You got France versus England. Similar skill gap in these guys. I honestly think these guys are very, very similarly skilled. So I think it makes all the sense in the world to have them fight in London. Get Davey Grant on that card. Prelim headliner, Davey Grant, Taylor Lapulus. Let's see how it goes. This is the matchmaking video. I'm crashing out, so I'm going to let you guys go, but hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe.